going to take you on a journey, and we're going to meet some people, and it's going to be really cool. So just bear with me. I don't know why I'm starting a weekly series when I won't be able to do one for the next 2 weeks, but we're just gonna go with this. So basically what I want to do is I want to go each week, hopefully it'll be weekly, a saint a week, and I'm gonna introduce you to the lives of the saints, and just like basically their lives, and then go into, I don't know, it just depends on which saint it is, what else is gonna go just besides their lives and their virtues, of course. So Saint Kateri is my patron saint, so we're gonna start with her. It's also her feast day today. By the time you see this, it will not be her feast day, but it's July 14th, her feast day. So we're gonna start with her, and then I don't know. I have a long list of saints that we're gonna go through. We'll see how long the series goes, and if I will intersperse other videos in between. But anyway, so let's get started on Saint Kateri, because she's so cool. I mean, all the saints are cool. And they're just, like, they're our friends, and they just want to help us get to heaven. It's just like pretty much our friends on earth, we just can't see them. Okay, so Saint Kateri Tekakwitha. Let's get started about her. I'm gonna give you a brief overview, probably gonna be less brief than I anticipated, because I like to talk, but anyway, let's get started and I'll tell you more, like, just about her in general later. So her early life, she was born in 1656, around there, and then died on April 17, 1680, at the age of 24. She was born near Auriesville, New York. There we go. And then so her father was chief of Mohawks, and her mom was an Algonquin, who was Christian, and then she taught Tekakwitha, that was her name before she was baptized, about the Catholic faith. Now Tekakwitha was really little, and her mom wanted them to get baptized, and she prayed that her children would be baptized because Tekakwitha had a younger brother. But there was not a priest around, and so they didn't get, the little baby did not get baptized before he died, and then Tekakwitha got baptized when she was 19. And then so when Tekakwitha was 4, she lost her entire family because of smallpox, and she also battled with smallpox, and she survived, but it left her with poor eyesight, so bright sunlight hurt her eyes, and she couldn't see very well anyway. And then she also had scars on her face from the pox on her face for the rest of her life, and I'll tell you a cool story about that at the end. And so her aunt and uncle adopted her, and her uncle became the chief. Now, they couldn't have kids, which is kind of important later in the story. They loved her until she became Catholic. So when she was 19, she actually converted. Of course, there's French Jesuits in Canada and in America. That's a whole other piece of history. But so they had come other times when she was younger, but she couldn't convert really because her uncle and aunt wouldn't let her until she was an adult. And so I worded this wrong on the PowerPoint, but the priest gave her the name Kateri, which means Catherine in Mohawk, and he gave it to her because her purity and love for Christ reminded him of the purity and love for Christ of Catherine of Siena, whom I will do a video on later in this series. And so, you know, actually both of them are pictured with lilies because of purity. That's what lilies mean in art. And so yeah, that's why she has the name Kateri, and there's that Dominican connection that I of course love. And so she refused to marry, which was the social norm, and then her aunt and uncle were pressuring her into it. She still wouldn't do it. Made them really angry. So, and also her decision to convert to Christianity in general also made them angry. And also it wasn't just them, but then the entire village, really, not the entire village, but most of the village started persecuting her, and her two aunts, so her aunt and then her aunt's sister, her two aunts, really persecuted her a lot. Her uncle still loved her, but he really did not like her decision. And these are my two favorite Saint Kateri quotes that link with, I put it on the slide because it links with her refusal to marry, and she wanted to just give everything to Christ and marry him, which she, like, eventually was like a consecrated lay person. That's one of the states in life of a Catholic. So these two are, I have consecrated myself entirely to Jesus, Son of Mary. I have chosen him for husband, and he alone will take me for wife. And the second one, which is actually a t-shirt I'm wearing right now, is, I am not my own. I have given myself to Jesus. He must be my only love. And then, so eventually the persecution got so bad from her village that other Christian Indians helped her escape to Canada, where they had this village of prayer where a bunch of Christian Indians lived together. They lived as a tribe, one tribe, although there were a bunch of different actual tribes. And so they all lived there. And here, Kateri could flourish, and she could live out her faith with no worries of persecution, which she made her throw everything into her faith, and she could just learn so much, and she was so happy here. I think she said, I feel like a bird in its nest, and whereas before she's like, alienated. And so I know this goes for every saint ever, but she loved the rosary and prayed it almost constantly, and the Holy Eucharist, she loved it so much. I mean, it's Christ, so I hope she did. Everyone loves the Eucharist. But some other Indians said that the best way for them to prepare for communion, to receive communion, was to look at her face, because it was just glowing, and she was so excited. She was very quiet about it, but she was so excited to receive the Eucharist because she was just in love with Christ. And she died so young because she already had weak health because of smallpox. She never really got over it completely. And then she also had these really intense penances that she did on herself. And so she died at the age of 24 because of that. And her last words were, Jesus, Mary, I love you. And she's the first Native American to be recognized as a saint, the only one that I know of. There might be more, I don't know. Tell me if you know about them, or I could just Google it. And then this one quote I like, because she's my confirmation saint. It reminds me that, like, she's praying for me in particular, and everybody else whom she is confirmation saint of. But I don't know, just me and okay, whatever. But she said, be assured that you are pleasing in the sight of God, and that I shall help you when I am with him. It seems really, like, personal to me. And then here's some other quotes that I love from her, or really hit me. So this one I just fell in love with as of like 2 hours ago when I was making this video and researching. So she says, look at this cross. Oh, how beautiful it is. It has been my whole happiness during my life, and I'd advise you to make it yours. I can't go into my thoughts about this, so if you want to put your thoughts underneath, comment, that'd be awesome, because I can't go into depth about this in this video. And then she also said, I want to be like you, Christian. You help me to believe that I am special when you say God loves all people, no matter how different they are. It's probably her talking to a priest. And then this one really hits hard, because we love comfort. Americans love comfort. I love comfort. I will willingly abandon this miserable body to hunger and suffering, provided that my soul may have its ordinary nourishment. In this picture you can kind of see the scars. I don't know where this picture came from. I just got it off Google. Saint Kateri Tekakwitha, pray for us. A quick thing I forgot to mention in the PowerPoint, because I hinted at it and you're probably waiting for it. So talked about how there's this special thing that happened to her scars after, later, because she was scarred after the smallpox. So basically what happened was, she passed away, at the age of 24, and there were a bunch of people, and everybody loved her, and so there were a bunch of people waiting for her passing, and they were all with her. And then after she had passed on, went to heaven, a few minutes later, they noticed that the pockmarks were gone. Her face was completely smooth and beautiful, and it looked almost like baby skin. So it was just a little miracle that happened right after her death. Just, I think, attesting to the fact of how holy she was. In confirmation class in the 8th grade, they told us when we were choosing our patron saint, we had to do a little report, and our teacher said, what's one of the things you admire most about the saint that you chose. And so I guess I'm going to do that with St. Kateri, and it has changed since 8th grade, because now I'm almost a senior. I am a senior in high school, and I don't know. It's changed. And so a few things that encourage, or that she, I don't know how I'm supposed to say this, but she's my patron saint, so she's also like teaching me how to be like her, because I firmly believe that confirmation saints choose you. You don't choose your confirmation saint. So I think her steadfastness in persecution, with all the things going on with her tribe and how her family just hated her for becoming Catholic, and she was persecuted so harshly, and her steadfastness and stubbornness even for the faith, just it encourages me so much, even when I'm like just trying to hold on, even in just where America, where we're not really we're persecuted, but not, it's not like the Christians in the Middle East. And another thing, her just willingness to give everything to Christ. I know you can say this for just about every saint, but I don't know, every saint does it differently. And she just loved Christ so much, she was willing to do all these crazy, absurd penances that really hurt her body. But for her, it was just imitating Christ on the cross and giving everything to him, and showing that she was willing to leave everything behind to follow him, just like Abraham did in Genesis. And I've learned this quote after I made the PowerPoint, but one of the quotes, I'm paraphrasing, but she said, Jesus, because her her godmother, her adopted mother, basically was trying to get her to dress up, and I'm not, dressing up is not bad, but for her Kateri, she was trying to do like a penance, and she said, Jesus didn't wear any adornments when he died for us on the cross. And so she wanted to do everything for Christ, and Christ was her goal, and that was basically it. And so she just, I hope, teaches me, and hopefully teaches you, just give everything. You can say every saint does that, and yeah, it's true. But every saint does it, and is in her own way, and it's the exact same thing that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to live out holiness that Christ wants you to live out. And in that case, your holiness is going to look different than St. Kateri's holiness, or whatever saint's holiness. We can take encouragement from them, but don't think that your life has to be exactly like hers, because sometimes I'm tempted to do that. Okay, I need to be exactly like her now, when I realize, sometimes she's supposed to teach me ways, but how I teach me certain things, but the way I live out the ideas, like steadfastness and faith, or giving everything to Christ, or love of the cross. That's another thing she loved the cross, but I'm supposed to live that out differently than the way she did. Okay, this is getting way too long, so I'm gonna stop. I want you to learn more about the lives of the saints, because this is a quote from my cousin Jeremy, who's also a seminarian. Shout out to him. He's really gonna hate me for this. So he says, read the lives of the saints on a daily basis and incorporate some aspect of their spiritual life or good works into your own life. You should especially read the lives of the saints if you are spiritually dry. Nothing helps reinvigorate a soul other than the Eucharist, like reading books about the souls on fire for God. Keep in mind that what they did is not impossible for you. They were just as much sinners as you are. So that is my piece of encouragement for today, and get all and have fun doing it, guys.